Welcome to today's episode of Kilimo Na Biashara, a show that brings you different types of farming methods and all emerging trends in agribusiness world. Today, we want to focus on aquaculture. And to many, Machakos County is hot, dry, and dusty. But here at Kamudanga Farm in Machakos, it's lush and green. I'm meeting one Anthony Ndeto, who's a fish farmer, and he's going to tell us how he practices this venture. Follow me. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. This is Kamudanga Farm.
Yes, welcome to Kamudanga Farm. Then we can show you what activities we carry out here. But before we do that, Saruni, I'll have to give you some boots. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So you'll here you will put your foot slightly into the water. That's also a biosecurity.
Yeah.
So that if there's any germs or anything, you can carry them into the farm.
Yeah.
So now this is the farm where we have the nursery here, and then we have the grow facility here. Yeah. So
this is quite big.
Yes.
It
yes.
sits on,
so it sits on roughly 1 acre. And then we currently we're able to produce roughly to 100 tons a year annually.
Oh.
And we're still expanding. So we aim to be able to produce eventually around 1,000 tons annually.
Wow, that's
when
massive.
we're done.
That's massive.
So, but we sit on 1 acre currently.
And
Yes.
what you technically produce here, you start from hatching or you just buy already grown fish?
No, we are self-sufficient. Do you want to sit?
Okay, let me sit.
These are what we call our purging tanks, but that will be explained to you later.
How did the idea conceptualize? How did you come up with this type of business?
Realized that there was a very big gap in aquaculture farming because we are reliant on say what we call wild catch, which is like now the Lake Victoria, Lake Turkana, the Indian Ocean. But the trend in Kenya, just like worldwide, is that there's a reduction in stocks. The world population is increasing, so fish, everybody is becoming very aware that red meat is not very healthy for you, whereas white meat is very healthy. So the demand for fish will continue to grow.
Machakos County is well known as hot and semi-arid. Where do you source your water?
As Machakos is known to be a hot, arid, semi-arid place, but there's water underground. And so like this farm is serviced by a borehole. We decide to tap those resources and with proper planning, there's enough water to actually change our region into a food basket that can even feed Kenya. Because the potential is there, the land is there.
So how much capital do you need in order to start this type of business?
Well, with this business, to really have one lump sum cash to invest into the business is a bit difficult. It's also very expensive. Over a period of time, we've put in over 100 million. And so it's not something that you can have in one go. Like this project started we started building in 2012. So just slowly, you get a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, and just build, at your own time. But then we were lucky enough that when we started building, some Dutch program got in touch with us. We found each other. So they're called Food Tech Africa, and they subsidize quite a bit of what we're doing. Because they came in with also technology, because the technology we were going to use was not as efficient as the technology they had. So we were very, 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 very lucky to have that break.
Having started at around 2012, that's quite some time. You must have been a pioneer in this area. How is the uptake so far in regards to fish farming in the area?
You can say basically we're the pioneers of recirculatory systems in basically, I think, even Eastern Central Africa. Because all put together, the negatives of recirculatory outweigh the positives. Because like we have erratic power supply, the power is very expensive.
Yes.
So we have a lot going against recirculatory systems. Yes. It's not easy, but the plus for it is that you're able to produce fish faster and on smaller spaces.
You've been in this business for quite some time now. What are the challenges that you go through when you're in this type of business?
In fish farming, if you're in pond farming,
Yeah.
then yes, the cost of feed is the highest.
Yeah.
Because then your inputs basically are just the feed.
Yeah.
And well, if you're farming well, it's something we call the FCR.
Yeah.
And the FCR is the food conversion ratio. For every 1.3 kilos of feed you use, you should get a kilo of feed, of meat, fish, of fish. And then if a kilo is say 120 shillings, that means your production cost is your highest factor when you're in pond farming. But if you're in recirculatory, then you have two big costs. You have your power cost and you have your feed cost. And I think right now our power cost here outstrips our feed cost.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, it has to be properly managed. There are challenges to make sure that you have good seed. Because if you don't have good seed, that means the source of fingerlings, then you have a problem. First is to learn what you want to do. Fish farming is not a matter of you dig a pond, put your fish in and feed it. Because that way you're going to go absolutely wrong from the word go. So my advice is first invest time in learning fish production. There's one night that we lost almost 3 tons of fish. The power went out, generator didn't come on. In half an hour there's fish there popping up. Once your fish start popping up, you know you have a problem. Once you start seeing them flip, you see the white, then that means that fish is dead. So we lost actually basically the whole tank.
Wow.
Which is roughly 3 tons.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
You talked about returns. How are the returns for fish farming here?
Well, returns basically is once you get all your components together, but you could have returns of 30 to 40% would be a good way to.
Wow, that's quite big.
Yeah.
That's quite. Where do you source them from?
We are very diverse. You can pick fish from Lake Victoria. These are now brooders from Kiboko. Some we import from Netherlands. So then we widen our gene pool, so you're guaranteed that your fingerlings are healthy and they are vibrant and they will grow.
And where do you sell them to?
We have supermarkets we supply, we have hotels, we have restaurants, we have individuals who will call in. And now we're opening our own outlets, like in Nairobi, we're opening on Gong Road. So our outlets are being called Everything Fish. So we've opened one in Watamu, we're opening a second one on Gong Road. And there the theme is that we'll have aquariums where you'll actually be able to pick out live fish. Then you don't have to worry, is my fish fresh or that, and you're okay. So in the long term, we're targeting now to have our own chain of outlets.
From where you sit, how does the fish farming business look like?
Foresee aquaculture really growing in Kenya, and the world basically, and especially Africa. Because also people are becoming very aware about their health status, and people want to eat more healthily. So of course that's a market that will grow, and it will grow, that's a fact.
With the advanced knowledge that you have here since 2012 up to date, how is the local community benefiting from it right now?
For example, we offer trainings to farmers that are interested, and any farmer that walks in or calls us and wants to start fish farming and want to buy fingerlings or feed or whatever it is that they want to buy, we don't just sell to them and leave it as a one cash transaction that they pay for the fingerlings and go. We'll try to get to know what knowledge they have in fish farming. Even before they buy the fingerlings, we try to take them through a talk, a quick crash program of what they need to do in order to be successful. And then we also offer trainings that we've got 2-week training programs. We've got 1-month training programs that now farmers can call and actually come and train hands-on where they can learn the trade. And then we also take in students on attachment or internship from universities in this country or any learning institution that handles aquaculture.
Your best moments in fish farming?
But the gratification that you can see something develop from an egg onto your plate. Because you see, for example, now, if you see that fish there now, now that's waiting for a consumer. So the gratification that you can actually, take an egg and see it through until it's something that is beneficial to human. That's the good source of protein. So that really makes me feel good.
Now we want to dive into it. Can we go see now the entire production, how it's done?
So I'll hand you over to Mr. Odhiambo, who will now take you through the whole process.
Okay, let's go find this store.
All right.
Hi, Odhiambo.
How are you, Linda?
I'm good.
Okay, you are welcome.
What's happening here?
Okay, now this particular part of the farm, this is now the main farm. Kamudanga is divided into 3.
Yeah.
We have the hatchery, we have the nursery, and we have the main farm, now the grow-out system. Now first, I'll take you to the hatchery, where I'll show you where everything begins, where the eggs are being hatched, and then the babies are nursed for a month, and then they are brought to the farm here where we are.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to the hatchery.
Okay. Hapa ndo maisha ya fish inaanzia. Hatchery basically ni mahali tuna hatch the fish eggs. Alafu watoto wanakaa hapa. But you know, kwa hatchery these are young babies. When they are young, the immune system ya fish bado hajadevelop. Mpaka 6 weeks ishe. Ndo wakuwe na immune system. This is actually the second unit, but this is the first unit. So what we are looking at here, these are now the broodstock fish.
And where do you get this particular fish?
You know, in fish farming, you are always, in any kind of farming, you are always improving your breed. You like to have the best and superior breed around. So what happens is you go around. You can't go and at one point and collect both males and female. That will be will affect you a lot because of inbreeding. So what you do, you go around. Like you go to Lake Victoria, you get some females. You go to other farm, you get males, and you breed them together. Like in our own case, you can see we went all the way to Netherlands to get the males, and we get the superior breed from the farmers around, like the Sagana Research Institute. They are doing their breeding, they're developing the breed. And also, if you take the female from Sagana, you take the male from Netherlands, you take other female from... So we have 3 strains we are trying, and we are coming up with a very superior breed, the one that grows very fast.
You talked about inbreeding. What is inbreeding?
Yeah, inbreeding is when you now, the offspring, they interbreed. And their offspring again, the same offspring after that one, you interbreed them.
Yes, what are the dangers?
Now the danger is that there are some inferior breeds, the inferior traits that were not showing off, now will start show off. Like now you look at the sign of inbreeding, you see tilapia has to be a dome shape like this. That's the shape of a good tilapia. But if you start seeing a long fish like this, that's a sign of inbreeding. And those one gives you less growth speed and give you poor fillet bone ratio. So these fish, we have a way of identifying them. We have a chip implanted in them. These fish are not for consumption, they are for breeding. So the chip is for identification. Like we said, we know fish by the code, by the name. So that is very important for traceability, for farm management, for even because we are certified farm. Yeah, African AU certified farm. Traceability is one of the components or lead questions that we were to comply with.
What is the advantage between these ones compared to the local tilapias?
Yeah, the local tilapia, like we said, this super male, they are called the super male because they can only sire the male fish. because in aquaculture they only want to grow male fish in a facility. Ukiona mtu ako na pond, anafaa aweke tu wanaume peke yao, sio wanawake.
What happens to these fish after they are done breeding? What happens to them?
When they grow too big like these ones, they become lazy spawners. You won't be getting frequent eggs. They're lazy. Wakikuwa wazee sana, wana breed less. So utapata mayai mingi venye unanini. So we have a separate wild, we call them natural unit, a dam. We put them there and then we bring in new tusk. Wenye sasa watakuwa kitupatia mayai more frequently.
So what's the difference between these black ones and the pink ones?
The ones that are dull in color, those are the female fish. The ones that are bright in color, the one you can see they are red or rather pink in color, those are the male fish. So these males, the pink one, they are now ready for breeding and they are trying to impress the female fish. The female will go where the male has made a home and then they lay eggs there. The female will, after the male has fertilized the eggs, the female will take her eggs back in the mouth, incubate or brood them in the mouth for around 20 days. And then after the eggs hatches into babies, they release the babies. But what we do, we don't allow that to happen. We go before 20 days or 15 days. We go after 10 days, you come in, you find all the eggs still in the mouth of the female. So they have not hatched yet. So we remove all the eggs from the female and then put in artificial incubators, a facility you can see right behind me here.
And how long does the breeding take? So
tilapia fish, depending with the size, if it's because they mature very early. At 100, 150 grams, they start maturing, they start giving eggs. So for every 100 grams, you get 100 eggs. So 100-gram fish, female fish, will give you 100 eggs. 200-gram fish will give you 200 eggs. So the bigger the female, the more the eggs. So if you have a 1 kilogram female, you'll get 1,000 eggs every harvest.
How many times do you harvest?
So what happens after this, we said we collect eggs from the mouth of the fish here. We put them in a trough, we weigh the eggs because data collection is keeping of data and records is very, very important. Tunawatoa hapa, hiyo mayai tunabeba kwa trough, tunaleta kwa, after kuweigh, tunaweka kwa incubation system. Now we have 6 incubators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these incubators, they are called artificial incubators. So in the artificial incubators, what we are trying to do, we are trying just to emulate what happens in the mouth of the fish, parent mother. So in the mouth of the mother, what happens, the eggs, the female tries to rotate the egg in the mouth. Mayai huwa ikai tu kwa mdomo itimekaa tu. Wanajaribu kuzungusha mayai kwa mdomo. Alafu ukiangalia hizi incubators vizuri, utaona mayai inazunguka. So this is a small recirculation unit, so create a current yenye inazungusha mayai.
Just so similar to when it was in the mouth of the mother.
So hii mayai ikihappen imerest, haizunguki at any point. For 30 minutes you lose all the eggs. So mayai lazima ishinde ikizunguka, unaona? Inazunguka. It's a recirculation system. Maji ina overflow up, inamwagika at the bottom, alafu ina overflow hivi, inakuja, tena inarudi chini. So unaona maji hii, yenye iko hapa haitaitoka mpaka mayai hatch.
So from here, where do we go?
So from here, I think we can now go to the farm.
Yeah. Okay.
The nursery now, because that is where the fish move to.
After 1 month.
After 1 month.
Yeah.
So this is now the nursery, and here is where now the fish are moved to from the hatchery. Yeah. No, from the hatchery they are very still tender. They are small, like 1 gram. 1 gram is like 1.5 inch.
Yeah.
And at that size, a good farmer should not stock them in the grow out. When I say grow out, I mean where the fish are going to spend the rest of their life till they mature to table size. So what you need to do, you put them in a small unit where you can still take good care of them, a close look at them, before you release them into the big tank. Right inside here is now the nursery. It's kind of a sauna. People with foundation normally fear coming inside here. Okay, this is Cynthia. Cynthia is a student at Kamudanga Farm. She's attached here for 3 months.
Yeah.
She's studying fisheries at the Kenya Wildlife Services.
Yeah.
So she's doing the practical part of the course requirement. So what she's doing at the moment is called disinfection.
Yeah.
At the end of every production cycle in the nursery, that I mean when the fish have reached 70 grams, 50 to 70 grams, they are moved out.
Oh.
So at that particular time, you have to disinfect so that you don't want the cycle to be any developmental stages of parasite.
Yeah.
And we have 10 units. Each unit is a 4,000 liter tank. Here, the 4,000 liter tank can accommodate up to around 20,000 pieces of fish. So it's a very intensive system, because if you look at the structure, in fish farming, the main challenge is normally how to remove waste and how to aerate. You can see right in the middle of the tank, we have a filter. And the filter takes care of the waste of the fish. We have the solid waste, we have the ammoniacal waste. So once those are taken out, you can stock as many as you want.
How is it managing the 20,000?
With the 20,000 in a tank, they can stay only for 60 days. They cannot stay more than that because they are growing and they need more space. So once after 60 days, they would have grown to 50 grams and they'll need more space. That's now when we transfer them to the big tanks, where now they stay there for the rest period of their life until the market size.
What is the feeding program of a fish?
This is an automatic feeder. It is connected to electricity. It dispenses feed every 1 hour. It dispenses around for 2 minutes and it stops. So feeding is every hour.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an expensive venture because you have to bring in oxygen, you have to ensure change of water resources, reliable water source. How is it?
Actually, I would say that fish farming is both art and science altogether. You cannot do without one, because you can see the artistic. This is the state of art fish farm. It's the latest technology in aquaculture. Actually, this is the future of fish farming, intensive farming, because you are able to hold so many in a small unit.
What are the requirements of fish farming for someone who's beginning this venture? What are those key things that they should have at hand in order to start fish farming?
First, you must have water, quality water and quantity. That is very important. And depending with the system of your choosing, you can either choose an intensive system, which you must have a reliable and stable source of power. That one for Kamudanga and anybody who is thinking of this intensive system. And for another thing, choice of locality or the surrounding. Environmental situation can also affect your fish farming, because if you set up a fish farm in a very cold area, you can even grow fish for 3 months. Well, for 3 years. You have not even attained the market size. So it's about the locality, because these are warm water fish. You have to locate in a warm water environment. If it's kind of not stable, you do something like this, what we are doing, the greenhouse, so that you caution environmental effects to your fish. So it's for intensive, you have to do because if you do indoor fish farming, you have control of your production.
That has been quite an insightful show. I hope you've learned something on fish farming. Me and my crew right now, we're going to have a meal. But until next time, God bless.